And number 10 on my list is Devil's Bridge in Sedona, Arizona. The Devil's Bridge is one of the most beautiful places in Sedona, Arizona. And once I got to the top of the mountain after a 30-minute hike, I found out that there was an entire line of people waiting to take a picture. So I then cut the line of 40 people to get on the side of the Devil's Bridge, not in anybody's way of the picture, but this is what happened.
This is so beautiful. They're booing at me.
I got boos, I got FUs, I got rocks thrown at me, and just a bunch of negative energy. And now looking back at it many months later, it never fails to make me chuckle and have a good laugh. And number 9 on my list is the White Sands National Park in New Mexico. This was my first adventure expedition into any national park. In fact, it was my first experience in any type of desert. And I really felt like I was on an alien planet, walking through the white sand, feeling the sand between my feet, and looking around at endless white sand. And it was probably the sickest view in all of 100 days. The white sand was really tripping me out, but once I saw the setting sun behind the white sand, I knew that the travel lifestyle was for me. And number 8 on my list is skating across the Golden Gate Bridge on day 70 of traveling the United States in San Francisco. At this point of the journey, it was time to leave the Bay Area after 2 weeks, but we were leaving in style. We drove across the Golden Gate Bridge on accident, missing the parking. So we drove across and had to drive back, but that was okay. And I decided to break a world record by skating across the Golden Gate Bridge as fast as I can.
And the time starts now. No stopping, not even for people. Excuse me.
And my record time was 15 minutes. I enjoyed the massive red arches towering over the bridge, the big, beautiful, endless big boy bay, and the San Francisco coastal skyline. It was beautiful and something I will never forget. And number 7 on my list is Sin City, more specifically the Strip in Las Vegas. We were there on July 4th, one of the most craziest days of the year. But then the sun fell and then the moon came out. We went straight to Caesar's Palace where we watched the fireworks show that had endless, beautiful colors, explosions, pops, bangs. And after the show, it got even crazier. I was one of 50,000 people walking on the Strip, shoulder to shoulder, face to face. We then partied with the crazy people in Vegas until the night ended. And number 6 on our list is Venice Beach Skate Park. Now, me personally, I'm not one of the best skateboarders in the world. Hell, I'm not even probably considered good. But skating and hanging out in Venice is one of the most chillest environments you can be in as a skateboarder. It's really a skater's dream come true. The vibes are so chill and relaxed. While 50 tourists are watching you, it really enhances your skating to the max. In fact, I landed tricks that I had never landed before. Never had I had more fun skating at a skate park than in Venice Beach. Next thing I've known, I've been skating for 8 hours. That was the first time I went to Venice, but not the last. And number 5 on my list is Phoenix, Arizona. There are not many cities that I can really say that I've actually lived in, but Phoenix is one of them. I stayed about a week and a half in Phoenix, but luckily in the desert city of Phoenix, Arizona, I had my sister, my mama Teresa, and my friend Austin. I was fortunate to sleep on a couch, eat homemade food, stay nights in hotels, all the expense paid, while also hanging out with my friends all day, like going dancing in Tempe. We also visited the Scottsdale Aquarium, which I'll never forget. And with having great friends able to explore the city with, I was able to have a great time in Phoenix, Arizona. And it's the only city that I really want to revisit again in this road trip. And number 4 on my list is a combination of 3 different cities for one specific reason: Solvang, California, San Francisco, California, and Sedona, Arizona. And the reason I categorize all these 3 different cities in one is because I street performed and made not a lot of money, but I made money in all 3 of those cities. And I got inspired by a street performing singer named Nicole, who was singing Killing Me Softly by the Fugees. I was hooked, so I decided to go over and talk to her to see if I can get some advice from her. She then told me the best advice was to play with another street performer, and she invited me to do a duet. In the first few minutes of the duet, she drew in a crowd of over 25 Filipino tourists who were singing along and dancing with her. Although they were not jamming to my harmonica, they were mostly singing along with her. I felt very included, and that moment I will never forget, and it inspired me and gave me self-confidence to go and street perform by myself. So thank you, Nicole, for inspiring me to play even more. in cities like Solvang, California, where me and this little girl had a great moment where I gave her a high five as she was enjoying my harmonica playing, and in San Francisco where I had drumsticks and was making a beat on my skateboard along with an electric guitarist slash vocalist. And those experiences I'll never forget. And it all starts with Nicole. Thank you, Nicole. And oh my god. And number 3 on our list is the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon is a typical tourist destination while traveling across the United States. But every single moment of your living life that led up to you going to the Grand Canyon is worth it. For the next day, my jaw stayed on the ground at the national park. And as a Texan who spent 18 years in flat old Texas, never seen a mountain till I got to New Mexico, and never seen the ocean till I got to LA, I cannot believe that the 16,000 foot deep canyon really existed, and I was looking right at it. I could not comprehend it in my brain. Probably the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, I got emotional. I was overwhelmed, guys. It was so beautiful. And you guys probably heard this before about the Grand Canyon, so let me tell you guys a story about my second day in the Grand Canyon. On my way, I saw a hitchhiker. I turned around, picked her up, and she was a fantastically lovely lady from Germany. And she wanted to use her thumb to get all the way to the Grand Canyon. And as we both got to the Grand Canyon, we both went to the main vista point to see the endless canyon. My jaw stayed on the floor, and seeing her reaction just made it 1,000 times better. Helping someone else get to the Grand Canyon, experience the beautiful national park, extraordinarily great feeling to help her. And so I rank this so high on the list because helping her see the Grand Canyon for the first time made me feel extremely good. What? It's fashion. Anyway, number 2 on my list is the Redwood Forest National Park. When I was a kid, I used to spend at least an hour a day on Google Maps just looking at the amazing world that we live in. And one place that always got my attention was the Redwood Forest National Park with the largest trees in the world. Once I got to the Redwood National Park, I could not believe it. It was like I was walking through a fairyland
Redwood
filled with magical storybooks and magical times. It was the most great, grand, exquisite experience of my life, walking through the trails, walking through hours, miles of trails. It was absolutely perfect. Really, all I can say, it is magical, and I will never forget it. And number 1 on my list is Vance Creek Bridge in Washington. When I was on Google Maps looking at every single state, seeing what they had to offer, I saw the Vance Creek Bridge, an old abandoned railroad track that goes over a valley. And at the max depth, it's over 360 feet deep. And I decided to climb on top of it. Climbing on the bridge was a real test of my courage, my bravery, and overcoming a fear of heights that I've had since I was a little boy. And walked across the plank-like metal beams that went to the bridge. And when I was on the bridge, I was rewarded with huge tall mountains with greenery trees all over them, with a valley creek running right through the middle. And once I climbed back on the ground, I had the greatest appreciation for life. I was happy to breathe. I was happy to touch the ground. I was happy that I don't have to worry about falling to my death. I was happy to be alive. And that feeling is one of the greatest feelings in the world.
Yes!
Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope y'all have a great day, and thanks to whoever watched this. I don't care if it was 1, 2, or 3 people. As long as I made one person smile, that's all I care about. I'm gonna keep on making these videos. And yeah, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more travel videos.